Thank you for joining us tonight. You're now with me, Shal Shaminato for TVS Nightline. We begin with the headlining stories. Now, Swinburne Sarawak has come a long way since its beginning as a higher education institute to a full-fledged university it is now, with a total of 7,000 local and international graduates from the in highly skilled fields since its establishment in the year 2000.
Aimed at producing Sarawakian graduates with the skills and knowledge to thrive in the 21st century, the campus was the result of a partnership between Sarawak Government and Swinburne University of Technology, Melbourne.
As the Pro-Chancellor, I am proud of how far it has come since its beginning in the year 2000. Its rapid growth in a short period of time signifies the strong and successful partnership between the Sarawak Government and Swinburne University of Technology, Melbourne. I am confident that professional relationship that our two institutions enjoy will continue to grow into the future.
Noting that previously, parents in Sarawak had to send their children abroad to receive tertiary education. However, in the process, Sarawak lost its valuable human capitals. To commemorate its 20th anniversary, the state government and Swinburne University of Technology, Melbourne, are investing 50 million ringgit in facilities upgrading project, which include student accommodation, atrium, classrooms, as well as sporting facilities. The upgrading work is in line with Swinburne's 2025 strategic plan of becoming a world-class university and the state government's vision of becoming a developed state by 2030. Meanwhile, in order to encourage more Bumiputra students to study at Swinburne Sarawak, the university provides a variety of scholarships to Sarawak students, namely interest-free study loans, merit-based scholarships, higher degree research scholarships, and special PP40 scholarships.
And the federal government has agreed to consider amending a provision under Article 160 of the Federal Constitution to align it with the Malaysian Agreement 1963, or commonly known as MA 63. Now, Chief Minister Datuk Pandigi Abang Johari Tunopeng said the provision must be amended. This is to ensure that the Federal Constitution is based on the MA 63 and that the term the Federation is no longer interpreted as the Federation established under the Federation of the Malay Agreement 1957.
The Prime Minister has agreed we have to look at our Malaysian agreement, basically the strategic one. That is our constitution. Constitution kita mesti di-amend 10160. That will incorporate kita pun Malaysian agreement. Meaning saya macam situ 160 is interpretation. And the bawah ya, when come to agreement, it says based on Federation of Malay Agreement. That is that means the whole constitution too based on Malaysia of Malay Agreement. So the Prime Minister, the federal government has agreed to have a relook on this, and that's what they say. They will amend this provision under 160. Jadi apa yang saya sebutkan lepas tu will be another sort of decision to be made within the federal and state government as far as MA 63 is concerned on this.
Abang Johari explained that the amended provision will lead to a better relationship between the federal government and the Sarawak government in line with MA 63. He revealed that during the time Pakatan Harapan served as federal government, the Sarawak government wanted an amendment to the interpretations of the ordinance, but it was refused. The PH government had in April of 2019 tabled a proposed amendment to Article 1(2) of the Federal Constitution, which sought to restore the status of Sabah and Sarawak equal partners to Peninsular Malaysia.
Now, where have all the Sarawak-Malay dialect songs gone to? They are not even played on radio or television platforms. But now hundreds of Sarawakian dialect songs have been done by 4 composers from a group called Jalan. Now, in line with the efforts of Sarawakians to empower the dialect, many agencies have been working together in the effort to develop the music industry in the state.
The composers are also planning to organize a patriotic song competition and a nasyid competition in the Sarawak-Malay dialect. The Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Nancy Shukri, said Sarawak-Malay dialect songs could be made into a tourism product. The speech was read by Abang Nawawi Bul Hassan, who represented Simunjan Member of Parliament Aula Dris.
Jadi, Madam, Datuk Nancy ada menyarankan lagu Melayu Sarawak boleh dijadikan produk pelancongan. Okey, produk pelancongan, dan menyarankan agar usaha ini diteruskan pada masa akan datang bertujuan melahirkan banyak lagi pencipta lagu dan lirik di kalangan belia khasnya. Yang mahu lagu dialek Sarawak tu sebaris dengan lagu-lagu popular pada dekad ini. Ya, mata-mata.
Meanwhile, according to Abdul Yaqub, Chairman of Arts and Cultural Heritage of Kuching, local dialects composed into songs symbolize the state's identity.
Mun kami di Semujan, mak saya orang Gedong, saya tahu. Mun orang Semujan, nya kelakar ke pia. Siada je bunyi ya. Ya orang Semujan. Tapi bila kita pergi ke kampung, nak do je bunyi ya. Lain cerita kita kena ya, katanya. Ya kampung. Tapi bila kita pergi ke Gedong, lain lagi. Jadi, apabila kita melihat lagu tu nak dipertandingkan, bahawa ialah Sarawak. Tuklah Sarawak. Tapi sebabnya saya madah bermula daripada Ketua Menteri kita, Tok Nan kah, Tun Taib kah, apakah Abang Jo tu. Nak melantak jajak kelakar Sarawak, jeruk Atuk Renan, mun Atuk Renan main, oh ha. Ya, pattern kita orang Sarawak.
Now, where there is a will, there is a way. No matter what you do, as long as you're passionate and keep moving forward, everything will fall into place. Such is the story of Leo, who once owned a financial firm, but all of that changed when he quit the financial sector to pursue his love in furniture making and design.
Come back to Sarawak, okay, and then I set up my companies, Brown Furniture, okay, even with zero experience, 16 years ago, zero experience. And then because of passion about kayu and also the furnitures, then I start this business, and along the journey, for past 16 years, I'm still learning until I'm able to even give, training to young designers, So I think the passion of this business.
As many might not be aware, passion plays a big role in the pursuit of one's line of work. Brown Furniture, established by Leo in 2005, is now operating in Kuching and Miri, based on the solid wood furniture concept. Not only that, the excess wood chips and sawdust are also utilized in the making of furniture.
Wood furniture, anything solid wood, yeah. So we do customization. Okay, we are doing manufacturing, design, everything, all under one roof. So currently we are targeting a more exclusive, okay, kind of business where we only target, kayu yang like recycle, reclaim, reuse. So a lot of our timbers, even at our back, are mostly reclaimed timber actually.
Looking at the furniture design industry in Sarawak, Leo feels that it is developing more and more. His own company even hires trainee designers from, say, Designer Sarawak for a period of 1 year. It would serve as a platform for young designers to experience firsthand the world of furniture making and design.
Meanwhile, global demand for furniture signifies a growth opportunity for the furniture industry. Now, this followed a rise in population and urbanization, and now it is high time for furniture makers and designers to move up the ladder. Now, for this purpose, Say Designer Sarawak is a training program that aims to invigorate young designers' passion in creativity and design, specifically in furniture.
The training program is initiated by the Sarawak Timber Industry Development Corporation (STIDC) since 2018. The Say Designers Sarawak training program serves as a stepping stone for young Sarawakian designers to pursue their career in furniture design. The 2-year training program aims to bolster their skills and knowledge in design. Ryan Matthews, a young trainee, said passion is the main driving force behind the Kuching-born youth's decision to join the program. Ryan believes that the program is honing his talent to become the next great designer.
Membuktikan dia Sarawak mempunyai sumber, Sarawak mempunyai raw material yang ada, so why not kita try explore, try expandkan benda yang sedia ada, jadikan something yang valuable, something yang boleh dikomersialiskan dengan idea passionate young designer yang kita ada sekarang ni.
Meanwhile, Ryan's buddy Arifin, who hails from Bau, aspires to become a successful furniture maker and designer.
Pada masa yang akan datang, saya akan menjadi seorang peringkat industri atau furniture designer yang berkemahiran, yang berjaya, yang boleh membantu industri perabot di Sarawak untuk ekspor ke negara-negara lain.
To ensure that these young designers have a competitive advantage in the industry, communication plays a crucial role. Communication coach Arif Azahari opined that every product on the market has a story to tell.
Menjemput saya sebagai jurulatih komunikasi untuk membantu mereka supaya satu hari nanti selesainya program ini in terms of employability, daya pemasaran mereka dan juga marketability mereka pun terjamin, dan dengan itu ia dapat membantu mereka sebagai designer, keluarga mereka, dan paling penting ialah untuk menyumbang kepada industri kayuan negeri Sarawak.
During the pandemic, he said meetings and product marketing are now mostly held virtually.
Satu caranya untuk kita memasarkan melalui virtual, melalui online. Dan saya rasa yang itulah market yang besar, global market yang terjentang luas untuk kita. Dan juga saya fahamkan pihak pusaka juga terlibat dalam expo di luar negara. Dan saya rasa untuk memberikan satu image yang tinggi, mereka haruslah dibekalkan dengan kemahiran komunikasi yang sebaik mungkin.
And 30 young startup founders from all over Sarawak have been selected for Tabung Economy Gagasan Anak Sarawak's or TEGAS Youth Founder Mentoring Program. Now launched by TEGAS's Digital Innovation Hub, the online mentoring program is organized to promote digital innovation and entrepreneurship in the state.
Running from March till August, the 6-month program will equip participants with technical and soft skills. Participants are expected to demonstrate an entrepreneurial mindset over the course of the program, as well as pick up startup best practices such as user-centric design, lean methodology, validation and value creation. TEGAS Chairman and Assistant Minister of Urban Planning, Land Administration and Environment, Datuk Haji Len Talif Saleh, explained that the effort was to empower local startups and drive growth to the state. The mentoring program aims to connect young startup founders with experienced entrepreneur mentors from Malaysia, Indonesia and Singapore to equip them with valuable knowledge and insight on entrepreneurship.
Back to the Nightline with the COVID-19 development, as Sarawak today recorded 176 new COVID-19 cases and another death in Cebu. Now, of the total number of new cases, Cebu recorded the highest number of cases at 30, followed by Kuching at 29 and Bintulu at 25.
The state's cumulative number of COVID-19 cases now stand at 16,390. Meanwhile, 3 new COVID-19 clusters were detected, comprising 2 workplace clusters in Miri and Cebu and 1 community cluster in Sarukay. The community cluster, dubbed the Jalan Baji cluster in Sarikei, was traced in a housing area. The workplace cluster, dubbed the Jalan Kingsway cluster in Miri, involved a government office. The other workplace cluster, dubbed the Bulatan Aman cluster in Sibu, involved a factory at Jalan Upper Lanang. The Bluru district is now a COVID-19 orange zone after recording 28 new COVID-19 cases in the past 2 weeks. Song district reverted to yellow zone from orange after 20 new COVID-19 cases were reported over the past 2 weeks.
And Malaysia reported 1,482 new COVID-19 cases and 7 fatalities over the past 24 hours. Now, 1,070 recovered cases were also reported, taking the total number of recoveries to 329,624. There are now 14,604 active COVID-19 cases in the country.
Of the new cases, 1,480 were local transmissions and 2 more were import cases, while 164 individuals are being treated in the intensive care unit, 81 of whom require respiratory aid. The total number of COVID-19 cases now stand at 345,500, while the death toll is at 1,272. Selangor reported the highest number of overnight infections with 661 cases, followed by Penang 200 and Sarawak 176. Remaining states recorded double-digit infections figures, while the federal territories of Labuan, Putrajaya, Terengganu and Perlis respectively recorded single-digit infections.
Now on to the next update, as the price of RON 97 petrol increased by 2 cents per litre, while RON 95 remained unchanged for the week of April 1st to April 7th. Now the new price for RON 97 is now RM2 52 per litre.
The weekly fuel pricing mechanism was reintroduced in 2019 under the Automatic Pricing Mechanism APM. The Finance Ministry said that in order to protect consumers from global oil price increases, the government would maintain its ceiling price of RON 95 petrol at RM2 5 per litre and diesel at RM2 15 per litre, despite increases in global market prices. The government will also continue to monitor the trends of global crude oil prices and take appropriate measures to ensure the continued welfare and well-being of the people.
And the Malaysian Competition Commission, or MYCC, has initiated the process to amend the Competition Act 2010 to give it the power to control mergers and acquisitions of companies. Now, Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs said Malaysia's Competition Act 2010 did not give the power to the MYCC to control mergers and acquisitions of companies.
With the amendments, its minister, Dato Sri Alexander Nantalinggi, said any merger or acquisitions of companies will require prior approval from the MYCC. This move would prevent market concentration that could jeopardize the market. The minister said the MYCC, the ministry's agency overseeing the enforcement of the act to protect the process of competition in the commercial market. This will further ensure a conducive culture of competition, is planning to table the amendments to the act by the end of this year. Nanta said the MYCC had also taken action against several companies after finding them violating the competition regulations either through agreements, cartel, abuse of dominant power, or monopoly. They are namely MYEG Services Sdn Bhd, Dagangnet Sdn Bhd, Malaysia Airlines, and AirAsia.
And a new law gazetted today, as the law will temporarily allow the Finance Ministry to approve additional spending of federal government's funds without going through Parliament's approval.
The new law, titled Emergency for Essential Powers, amended Ordinance 2021. It amends an earlier emergency ordinance gazetted on January 14 by allowing such approvals without requiring the usual scrutiny by Parliament. According to the new law, Menteri Besar and Chief Ministers of States in Malaysia will similarly be able to approve additional spending in state levels. Menteri Besar and Chief Ministers do not have to get approval of state legislative assemblies. This was done through the new law's introduction of Section 10B into the original emergency ordinance, with this new provision titled Temporary Financial Provision. This new law takes effect from today, March 31st.
Welcome back. Now, about 30 million ringgit worth of illegal cigarettes and alcoholic beverages were seized by the Sarawak Marine Police Region 5 team, the biggest raid conducted so far this year.
Dubbed Ops Contraband, 6 foreign nationals were arrested in the March 12th operation at Tanjung Kunyit. State Commissioner of Police Dato ID Ismail said that the team came across a barge loaded with several suspicious-looking containers at a private jetty while patrolling Tanjung Kunyit waters at 12:40 p.m. During the operation, ID said the police had waited about 10 hours for individuals to claim ownership of the barge and containers, but no one came forward. The 6 foreign nationals were arrested, and the case was investigated under Section 135D of the Customs Act 1967. ID said the police will continue to upgrade its operations and tighten border control in order to combat smuggling activities and urge members of the public to tip off related information of similar nature to the police.
And following the next news, as Sarawak Energy Berhad or SEB is cracking the effort for meter inspection in the state to tackle the frequent fire cases caused by electricity theft.
SEB reminded the public that electricity theft is illegal and life-threatening, and that the act of tampering can cause damage to electrical items which can start the fire. Therefore, SEB urged the public to report such activity to the customer service line at 1300 88 3111 or email at customercare@sarawakenergy.com.
And online retail sales almost doubled during the COVID-19 pandemic. And Bank Negara Malaysia said this shows rapid growth of the digital economy as a contributor to the country's growth.
However, Bank Negara said online retail were still fairly small at less than 10% of the total retail sales. It is expected to trend higher as consumers continue to shift rapidly towards online spending, which encourages more SMEs to pivot towards sales. The bank governor, Dato' Nur Samsiah Muhammad Yunus, expects e-commerce activities to account for a bigger portion of Malaysia's gross domestic product, or GDP. Overall, the digital economy accounted for about 19.1% of Malaysia's GDP in 2019. The Department of Statistics Malaysia's online retail sales index averaged at about 33% between March and December last year, which is more compared to the start of 2020 at 22%.
And wrapping up the Nightline with good news, as more than 3,000 creative practitioners are expected to receive various assistance. Now, the assistance will be in the forms of grants, loans, digital platform establishment and upskilling initiatives.
The Malaysian Creative Industry Stimulus Package, or PRISMA, is expected to support more than 3,000 creative practitioners. These initiatives were provided by My Creative Ventures, Sendirian Berhad. PRISMA programs could create employment opportunities in spaces, art organizations, production houses, bands and theatre groups, such as the Music Streaming Equipment Grant under PRISMA, which will assist 100 musicians to apply new norms and digital elements in their creative activities. This includes providing access to music production and online broadcasting tools. Funding is up to 10,000 ringgit per person, and applications are now open until April 2nd.
And that concludes TVS Nightline for tonight. And as we still are fighting with the COVID-19 pandemic, I would like to urge all locals to always stay vigilant. Now, here with me, Shal Chamator, and I'll see you next time. Have a good night.